if it's going to be the last thing I do, I'm going to make sure that everyone knows Brittney. She mattered, and they wanted her silenced, and they wanted her to be never seen again. I'm going to make sure she stays seen, and and everyone knows who she was or who she is.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. This is Tawana Spian Butler, and this is Missing Our Voices. This is the podcast of missing persons. Their families get to tell their stories of the traumatic experiences that they have went through and still are going through. Tonight, we cover a case with Brittney Woods. Her stepmother is with us tonight, Miss Stephanie Hanke. We're going to go ahead and dive into it. Stephanie, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So I researched this case, and
did I freeze? Okay.
Yeah, this is like no other. It definitely has a lot of different turns and twists to it. The only thing that kind of bothered me is the story kind of took a turn where I didn't even really know who Brittney was because it was so overshadowed at one point. Can we start off by letting everyone know who she was as a person so people that doesn't get overshadowed?
Okay. She was just your average 19-year-old single mother. She ran the roads, had fun, hanging out with her friends, never met a stranger. Just did what most teenagers did 10 years ago.
Right.
She was more of a nomad type person. She went from place to place. She didn't really have what you would consider a stable place to stay. She'd stay with her mom. She'd stay with us. She'd stay at her grandma's. She'd stay with this friend or that friend. She actually at the time didn't have sole custody of her child, so she didn't have the responsibility of having the child in the home at all times. So she had that choice of running around and living that teenage lifestyle.
And who was in charge? Who had the custody of the child?
The child's father.
Okay. Was she able to get to see her child as much as she wanted?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So at May 2012, something apparently went very, very wrong. And I know that there's been a lot of stories around everything, but can you start from the beginning of where you think everything began?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody really knows where it began. As far as we know, on the day she was last seen, everything was fine. She was, from what we understand, she was having a normal day. She was at her mom's. From what her cell phone records show, she was having normal conversations back and forth with texting and calling. She was down the street at her aunt's, riding, it was either four-wheelers or go-karts, and that would be her mom's sister. She
Right.
actually, I believe she saw her daughter that day. She spoke to her father. We made plans to see her on Saturday. That was a Wednesday. May 30th was a Wednesday. As far as we knew, everything was just normal.
Okay. So at what point did you realize that something had went wrong?
It wasn't until Friday, 2 days later, when her uncle was found shot, and it was her favorite uncle, and everybody started looking for her to tell her to make sure she was aware he had been shot, or as they thought at the time, shot himself, or still think, and nobody could get in touch with her because she left on the evening of May 30th to go visit a friend, or at least that's what she told her mother. She was going to visit a friend, and when we got in touch with that friend, the friend informed us that no, she was going to see that uncle. And that's when we realized something wasn't right, because
Okay, so the friend basically said that she was supposed to go see the uncle the night that the uncle killed himself?
no, the last time she was seen.
Okay, okay. But this
Yeah,
wasn't the time. This wasn't when he took his life, correct?
correct. It was less than 48 hours later when he was shot. He didn't die for 3 days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he did not regain consciousness. He was brain dead when he was taken to the hospital.
Okay. So at this time, he's in the hospital. Everybody knows that something is not quite right because I did see that her cell phone was found in his truck. Was that correct?
No, her cell phone's never been found. There was a battery
A
that was
battery,
found. Yeah, there was a battery found, and her mother believes it was her cell phone battery.
but not for
Um,
sure.
Not for sure because it was just a battery. She believes it was her battery because it has scratches on it that match the scratches. Um, I I don't believe necessarily that is her battery because there's been so much shadiness going on with the wife of the uncle that she could have easily put those scratches on the battery when she asked, "Hey, does it have scratches on this side?" And, "Oh yeah, let me scratch it up." And yeah, it's got scratches on it. So, so
Yeah,
there's no way to prove that.
yeah. There has been so many. There's a lot of different twists and turns,
There
and
is. There's so many twists and turns because the way that Brittany would run the roads, it wasn't unusual that you wouldn't hear from her for a day or two.
right, right.
So that's why it wasn't unusual that nobody heard from her on because it was a Wednesday evening that was the last time that she was seen. So it wasn't unusual that nobody heard from her on that Thursday. Well, then it was Friday afternoon around 2:30 that everybody heard that Donnie had been shot, and then so that's about the time everybody starts looking for Brittany, and then that's when we realize, wait a minute, nobody can find Brittany. Everybody starts calling around, and then a few people was like, well, last I heard she was going to see Donnie, the one that was shot, and then by Saturday nobody has heard from her. So that's when the missing persons report was filed.
And how has the police actually like still has this investigation is still ongoing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so from the time that you guys realized like okay something is definitely wrong, there was a lot of different occurrences that happened also, not just with the uncle, with the aunt, the mom. Quite a bit of things happened in that time, and like I said, I don't want to overshadow that she's missing, but I think some of the things that are important have to be filled in. So can you tell us a little bit about the background of what happened with the rollout of what happened with the family?
Well, okay. So the uncle was already under investigation for molestation of a family member, of one of his immediate family members, a child, and he was to meet the with the process, well, with a detective that day, the day that he was shot, and they're saying it was about 30 minutes before the time he was supposed to meet is when they believe that he shot himself. Um, and he was found by his wife and her best friend. And that the Jesse's brother, which is Brittany's mom, he's the one that started it by calling and turning in the uncle
Okay.
because he found some messages on the child's computer that led to the whole investigation that started apparently in February. So that where it started in February, we're now in May. No, we're
Okay.
in June. We're in June 1st. So they were supposed to arrest him on June 1st. That's the day he was shot. Um, and then by June 19th, uh, the uncle, which is the Brittany's mother's brother, is arrested, and so is one of the brother-in-laws is arrested
And what were they arrested
for
on?
sex charges against. So yeah, they're related child sex related charges, and it just keeps snowballing. We still do not have any idea where Brittany is, and then the sex charges just keep rolling in till it
So
turns into there's a. I'm sorry.
So as you're seeing this unfold, because I think people hear the story, but I don't know if they hear, and I think it's important for the emotions of what other family members really have to deal with while everything is going on. Because basically, what you're telling me is that not just you're processing that your stepdaughter is missing and something is wrong. Now you have to process that one of your semi auto semi family members has shot himself, and their whole family is now being brought in on sex charges for children, correct?
Right. The whole maternal side that is being arrested. So, and we cannot get any answers from that side, which is her mother's side. We're not getting anywhere. And then they're turning their backs on us and as far as her mother. And it's actually separating the two sides.
Right. What were you and your husband thinking about at that moment? Like, what were you feeling?
Numb.
Yeah.
Our focus was, and it still is to this day, is to find out where she is and what happened to her. We've never given up on looking for her, finding out what happened to her. We got with Class Kids, which is a nonprofit search organization, and they've been with us ever since, helping us, following up on leads and tips, and doing searches. And like I said, they've been with us ever since, going on 10 years now.
And has the maternal side kind of departed from you guys? Because I they did it. They
Oh
did.
yeah,
I've seen the documentary, so they've spoke out, but I think it was almost kind of they had to in a sense. So have you guys like separated, or have they come together with you to try to figure out what might have happened to her? Because that's still very, very important.
right. No, we've completely separated years ago.
Wow.
Once the arrest started, they completely separated from us, which was fine because we asked in the beginning for to try to get answers, and I'm really not sure. There's several different variables of what separated us, but and it's sad. Everybody should have been able to come together for the common denominator of finding her.
Right.
But it's happened, and I've seen it with other families of the missing, and it just this was another family that it tore apart, and it's just I don't know if it was because of the arrest, but it was better that way because there was nobody on the paternal side that was even questioned in the sex ring, and it really was better that we did separate
Yeah,
from them.
probably. And you made a statement about, it seems as though it would bring you together. I've actually, I've suffered the same fate that you have. And sometimes the emotion from everybody, it just sends everybody into a whirlwind. So having a common denominator, having that common ground is so hard to do because everybody is so high with intensity of emotion. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so it kind of like makes it everybody kind of like withdraw within themselves sometimes. That's what I've seen so far.
Oh
And
yeah.
and we're all dealing with it in our own way. So with your husband, what has he said anything to make you feel like, like he feels like she's still alive?
I hate to speak for him, but
Mm,
he um he doesn't. He feels, as far as like Chessie has spoken out and said that she feels that Brittany's no longer with us. He also feels like she's no longer with us.
okay.
I know that deep down he does hope that she is. But I think that everyone has to come to grips with it in their own way, and that is his way. Um, and I'm just not. I can't give up hope. I don't think I'll ever give up hope. Um,
Yeah, I think you remember when we talked before, and I was telling you, I was like, everybody kind of does their grieving in a different way. At one point, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that something was missing inside of me. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But I was like you. I was like, okay, but and until that day comes, he's still alive. So
Right.
I give kudos to you for keeping that alive, because you really don't know if she still is out there. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. And I guess and I guess that's one thing too is whether she is or not, she'll always be alive with me.
Right.
And my whole thing is whoever did what has happened to her, they did it to make her disappear and to make her be gone. And that's why a lot of people have said, "Oh, she was just your stepdaughter. Why are you still pushing this? Why are you still looking?" She was because I was only around her for 4 years. Because
But that's still your
when
daughter.
exactly, and if it's going to be the last thing I do, I'm going to make sure that everyone knows Brittany. She mattered, and they wanted her silenced, and they wanted her to be never seen again. I'm going to make sure she stays seen, and and everyone knows who she was or who she is.
Right. So basically what you're saying is that whatever they thought they were going to do, that's not the plan here, right?
Right, right. Somebody wanted her silenced and wanted her to disappear, but nope, you're going to have to see her face every time you turn around.
That's good. That's good. I love it. What about her? Is it a daughter she has?
Yes,
How old is her daughter now?
she just turned 12.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
she had just turned 2 a couple of weeks before Brittany disappeared.
Does she actually know what happened to that what's happening to her mom, or what has happened to her mom?
She, as far as I know, because I don't discuss it with her. I
Okay.
know that she's got enough people, other people, she's got enough of them talking to her about it. So I try not to discuss it with her at all. We talk about other things. I feel like she's got it because so many people talk about it around her that I feel like that's not something her and I are going to have a conversation. If she asks me, we'll talk about it, but I'm not going to bring it up. And she's never talked to me about it.
And you know what's crazy? You're probably gonna be the one that she actually really talks to, because when you hear all these other people talking and talking, you want to find out, well, this person hasn't said anything. They probably know the truth about what's really going on. So is she doing okay in her life after going through what she's going through?
Oh yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good in school, or at least that's what she keeps telling me. She the other day she told me she cannot wait till the last day of school. We talk every day, several times a day. She texts me while she's at school, and I tell her, she's going to get her phone taken away from her. So we're actually, we don't actually live in Alabama anymore, but so there's a time difference, and so she's my wake up call pretty much every morning, texting me when she's on the bus to school,
Right.
and she's my afternoon text letting me know she's on her way home from school.
Well, that's going to be a present when you find Brittany. That's going to be a great present, or whatever happened with closure. That's going to be a great present that she has too, to close that door for her. Um do you think if Brittany was out there that she would be gone this long without any type of communication, especially with her daughter?
Not willingly, not willingly, not unless it turns out that there was something really bad. But there's so many different scenarios or variables of what could have happened to her that I don't know. I know at one point they said they people thought because of the sex ring that she could have been in witness protection program and forced to stay away. Well, I mean, everybody's arrested, everybody's in jail, serving years and years in jail. So where is she now? What else is there for her to hide for?
And she
Um,
wouldn't be considered a missing person if the cops had her at any given point. They wouldn't.
exactly,
Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
exactly.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't make
they would have.
Yeah, they would make you guys suffer like that. That's torture for anybody that has anybody that's missing, and for someone to withhold information like that, that's just torturing somebody. So I don't think
Right.
that would happen. Um, if there was one thing that you felt like you needed help with trying to find her, what would it be? What would you say to local law enforcement or any law enforcement that could help you maybe expedite or do something different in this case to help find where she is?
Oh God, let us look at her file. Let us look at that case file. That would be the big thing.
You haven't
We
looked at
have
the case file?
no, they will not let us look at that case file. We've been we've seen and talked to the detectives and talked about certain things, but we need to look at every page of that case file. We've got lots of information. We've got information on Donnie's. We've got 911 calls, but most of the stuff we have has got redacted parts in it. We've got his autopsy. We've got a lot of information on him, but we have nothing on her other than what they're telling us. They won't let us actually look at anything. Only things that we have, like her, the missing person report, half of it's redacted. They will not
Okay,
let us sit
is
down
it
and look at it.
redacted because it's still an open investigation? Because you do know that sometimes
Right,
they won't give you certain information due to the fact that there's still, it could be a cold case to some people, but it could still be an investigation that might be happening behind the scenes. Do you think that
right.
that might be possible?
That's what they're telling us is why.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they're telling us is why. We've got a new detective on the case, and he just got the file, and he's just about to start looking at it, and so we're hoping we're going to get somewhere with him. So
So what do you think if you had the case file, do you think that you would be able to see things that they might not be able to see?
yes,
Okay.
possibly, because you look at something for so long and you look over things
Mm-hmm.
because you get fresh eyes on it, which we have now that we are been fortunate enough to connect with Uncovered. They have seen things that I looked at it for 9 years at one point because we hooked up with them in January. So I had been looking at it for over 9 years, and then they're like, wait a minute, did you see this?" And it was like, "Oh my God, it's been staring me in the face," and I never saw it.
Wow.
And then they were able to actually get reports that we have never been able to get because we didn't know the right people or the right forms to fill out that they did.
They're actually a very awesome platform when it comes to assisting. I've
Aren't
been in
they?
yeah, they really are. And it's kind of phenomenal just the researchers that they have that help your cases and everything like that. Um, what what do you feel what do you feel that needs to be done at this particular moment? Or what would you want to say if just in case she was out there? What do you think you would say to Brittany if she just came across this podcast today? What would you want to say to her?
Come find me. I'm in Washington. Come find me. I No questions asked. Just come find me. Call me. Uh, link me. Link me in there to want to get it. We need to find a way for her to come find me. No questions asked. Come find me. I will always be here for you, like I've told you from day one. No questions asked. Don't care where you've been for the past 10 years. Just come find me.
What would you say if it was someone that was holding her?
Ugh, we need her. We let her go.
Yeah.
Contact me. Con- Missing Brittney Wood at gmail.com. Missing Brittney Wood at Facebook. Missing Brittney Wood Twitter. Um, at Missing Brittney Wood on Twitter. Just contact me. We
Whatever it would take, huh?
Whatever it would take. We will work it out. Just let me know. We will work it out.
You know, Stephanie, I it's really crazy. If I didn't know you were her stepmother, I would think that you birthed this child. I can hear the passion in your voice when it comes to just somebody, you know. And I think that
Mhm.
all of us have kind of been there. Just somebody, just help me. I just need just that one piece. And because right now there's a person that goes to sleep right now with an unanswered question.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's hard. That's one of the reasons that it was so important for me to start this podcast, because I just don't think that people understand that level of intensity to have to go to sleep if you go to sleep.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? If
Yeah.
you go to sleep with that type of burden, but you're powerful. You're very powerful. And if there's anything that I can help you with, if there's any resources that we can help you with, I'm hoping that you know that we're here for you no matter what the circumstances is, okay?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Is there anything before we go, is there anything that you want to say on behalf of Brittany and just on behalf of everything that you've been through? Or if you were speaking to other families, is there anything that you would like to tell them?
Take it one day at a time, put one foot in front of the other, and don't give up. Don't give up, no matter what another family member tells you, even if it's your own brother, sister, mother, father. You grieve. You grieve the way you need to grieve. You grieve on your time, nobody else's time. You do it how you need to do it. Don't let your spouse tell you how to do it. Don't let anyone else tell you how to do it. You do what your heart tells you for that person. You do what you need to do and just keep pushing.
This is Missing Our Voices. We just heard from Miss Stephanie Hanke, Brittney Woods' stepmother. We greatly appreciate that she's been on here. We want to make sure that Brittney Woods' name is kept in the spotlight, that there is a passion that's behind her, that she's not forgotten, that her story will be told as many times as it has to be told. We thank you so much, Stephanie, for your time and patience today. Whenever you have any more information and you want to come back on the show, just please give us a call and we're there, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
All righty.